Hey guys, welcome back to another little mini chit chat video. Welcome back to another little mini reaction video. So before we go ahead and get into today's topic, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff. Shout out to all of our Purple Heart members. Thank you guys so much for all of your support. For those of you who didn't get a chance to join the live, you guys will see this video once it re-uploads to YouTube. So thank you guys for all of your support in advance. Shout out to all of our new subscribers. Thank you guys for joining the family. We appreciate you guys. And shout out to everyone who is taking part in our watch time giveaway. Thank you to everyone for all of your support. If you want to take part in the giveaway, all you have to do is subscribe to the channel. Watch the videos to the end, comment purple heart emoji under the videos. Let us know that you came through. Drop a comment, a like, and you'll be entered into the giveaway. It is a cash prize giveaway. All you have to do is have access to Western Union to pick up those prizes. You must have valid government issued photo ID. And that's pretty much it. So, shout out to everyone who has been taking part in that. We appreciate you guys. And yeah, so today I wanted to go ahead and talk about the situation that's going on with Minneapolis and the statement that Trump made about invoking the Insurrection Act, guys. Yes, the Insurrection Act. Okay. So we are now moving into like phase 2 of the grand plan. I'm pretty sure by now, if you haven't figured it out, you will figure it out pretty quickly. But I'm pretty sure by now, most people have kind of pretty much figured out that um, I don't think they're getting an election. I don't think that I don't think that that's going to happen, unfortunately. But that seems to be where this is leading. And I kind of saw this coming a while ago because all the craziness that has been going on, all of the whole drunkenness with power, people usually don't like to give that up. I guess history has pretty much shown us in every dictatorship and every situation where somebody is literally power hungry, they're not giving up that power. You have to literally pry it out of their sometimes cold, dead hands. They won't give up the power. It is very, very addictive. They're drunk on power. So I already knew that the whole democracy thing and elections and all of that gone, done, finished, over with. If you do manage to get it through blood, sweat, and many, many tears, it will be rigged. It will never ever be a true and trusted election ever again. Because these people that are in power are drunk with it, and they love it too much to give it up. Like this complete control of the military, blow up who you want, attack who you want, take what you want, all that type of stuff. For these type of personalities is just too, it's like an aphrodisiac. It's just too good to give up. It becomes their drug, their opium, their crack. They're not giving it up. You understand? They're not giving it up at all. It's like when you think of January 6th, think of it like the other way around, right? Think of it as in the free society fighting to get back their democracy. That's kind of like what that's going to look like, because the whole thing with the whole going to vote and counting the votes, and then, the whole that whole thing is over with. Like they're never giving up the power. So let's talk about like how do they even get there? Well, you get there by doing things like this, by implementing insurrection acts and using the military against your citizens and hiding behind, the whole we're doing it to make everything safe again. And then it just becomes normal. After a while, you're living in a military run country. You know what I mean? Military backed government. So you have no further to look than just across the world, where you have countries that are run by the military, like Myanmar and those type of places. You see how they deal with their citizens and any type of dissent, right? I mean, it's all over the news. You just have to Google it. Literally, you see how they deal with their citizens if there's any type of dissent. There are other countries across the world, of course, where the military is in charge, right? We could look at North Korea. You see how they deal with their citizens. In North Korea, there is no dissent. Period. Point blank. Period. There is no dissent. Um, and there are many other countries around the globe where the military backs the government, and therefore the military can be used by the government to corral the population and keep them in check. And you see how that's working out, right? So, welcome to that. Welcome to that. I know North America is always late to the party. Um, but as somebody who lives in Canada, we're all attached on one big fat continent. So, yes, North America, welcome to that, right? Where there is no more free and fair elections, and you won't be, there will be no, oh, the midterms, we're taking back the House and all this other stuff. I know everyone's kind of waiting on, pins and needles for November, thinking that, oh, the Democrats are going to sweep in and there's going to be like some change of power in the Congress and all that type of stuff. Not happening. So, not happening. And if it does manage to happen, it's going to be through hell and high water. As we can already see, the groundwork is being laid out with the whole threat of insurrection acts and all this type of stuff. So, after we're done with the insurrection acts, not just in Minnesota, but in any state where there's any type of pushback against the whole, situation, they will also be invoking those acts. And soon you'll be a hop and a skip and a jump away from martial law. Martial law. Ha, martial law. That's where you're like in real, 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 real deep waters. Okay. That's the shoot to kill. That's the shoot on sight. That's the curfews. That's the complete control now being handed over, right, to the military and the government, and it's just not good. It's like whatever end of time movie you can think of, but it's real, that's that. So that's not good, martial law. And then, of course, with that comes tan no elections. Oh yes, and then of course people will freak out. They'll protest, they'll run out into the streets. Even the people who've been sitting on the fence not wanting to get involved, they're going to completely freak out, because then it's going to sink in what that means. What that means is like you're stuck with them forever, or until somebody else is willing to go and get it, right? And in a country where literally everybody owns a gun, I mean, you don't have to be Spielberg to see how this is going to play out, right? It's going to be complete anarchy, because even the people who are not the gun loving, gun toting people are going to realize that if they don't uh, pick up arms, they're done. So there you have it, right? Insurrection Act, martial law, no elections, complete breakdown in society. Then it's the government and the military versus the citizens. Then it's just complete anarchy in the streets, right? Because who's going to feel emboldened once, this situation starts to take place? Of course, it won't just be ICE, it will be their other wink, wink counterparts be showing up to the party, right? And then complete anarchy, right? Complete hell breaks loose. I mean, you don't need a crystal ball to kind of see where this is going, right? So, when someone, like, I think by now people have learned to realize, like, he's not joking, right? He's not joking when he talks about invasions and insurrection acts and um annexation and all this type of stuff, like, he's not joking around. It's not trolling. It's not, just trying to, it's not none of that. It's actually how he feels and like what he wants done, right? So now you have JD Vance came out and said that ICE has complete immunity, right? And everybody would say, "Oh no, that's not possible. Like, we have the laws and the courts. It's not possible." It is completely possible. They know that too, right? It doesn't matter what trumped up. I couldn't wait to use that pun. Pun very intended. What trumped up charges they come up with, like, if they want it to happen, they can make it happen. I remember watching Maduro on TV right before, like, a couple of days before they snatched him up. And he was talking about, the fact that they couldn't come and do it and they couldn't do it and this and that couldn't happen. And it was like less than 48 hours later, he was like being led away in like chains and all that stuff happened. It was just like that, right? So never say never. I think that is the moral here. Never say never. The same thing applies with Greenland. Never say never, right? When you have these type of personalities in charge, oh yeah, just never say never. Because like they literally want all of this to happen, right? Because the alternative is just it's just non-thinkable. Nope, nope, nope. We cannot even go down that avenue, right? So this is the other path to bypass that whole other situation. You guys know what I'm talking about. Bypass all of that and cement the end goal, which is to create an atmosphere where you have no alternative but to call martial law. And then, of course, the rest is, as they say, history, right? So, like, this is some serious, serious, serious stuff. The people who are freaking out, they're rightfully freaking out, right? This is not like before when they invoked the Insurrection Act in LA with the Rodney King stuff and people are looting and stealing and burning TVs down and stuff. I lived through that. So I know how it was. Like, I was old enough to know fear and danger. Yes, there was fear and danger for the people in LA specifically, right? But it wasn't at the level where it was like Armageddon type feeling. And maybe it's because I was young, maybe. But I just didn't feel that way. Like the people around me, the adults around me, weren't like, wanting to go into like a bomb shelter or like find the nearest church. It wasn't that type of energy. This is a little bit different. This is a little bit different. This is not about, rounding up some looters. This is on a whole different level. And if this type of power, because once you hit this type of um, endangerment for the public and all that stuff, Congress and all that stuff kind of goes by the sideline now because the president is now in complete control of the situation. These powers, like, literally have to be given over at this point because it's a complete breakdown in societal, in rules and laws and all that other stuff. So, of course, he's granted these complete powers. You can't not give it to him. It's been granted to every president before. And once he has those powers and complete control of the military, it's just like it's over with. They will never give that up. Like that will never, ever, ever be given back. Ever. And then it's full throttle. Like, I'm not trying to be, Sister Cleo here. I'm not trying to, oh my God, doomsday. I mean, it's literally written on the wall. Like, this stuff, you can't make this stuff up. There's no conspiracy theorist that can come up with like what is actually happening. This is not no Orwellian tale. This is our reality. This gentleman just threatened to invoke the Insurrection Act, right? And it's gonna push through and go through like everything else. At first, people are gonna be like, "Oh my God, like what is going on?" But then when they get tired or inundated, I should say, with all the violence and all the upticks in violence, you become like so numb to that stuff. It's very easy. It's a very slippery slope. I mean, like I said, just look at history. It's a very slippery slope. Oh, we're just gonna give the military the power just to protect us, just through this crisis, and then it's gonna pass back over. It never passes back over because power is very addictive. And if you're not a level headed, just person, you can become literally drunk on power. And nobody uh, that I can recall in history has ever been like, okay, well, here you go. I'll just go back to like being regular. No, they don't. They cling to the power, they never want to give it up. And then it's over with as a democracy anyway. The rest that comes after that, well, that never ends well. As we can see, it's played out before us time and time again. There are people living in actual hell because of these type of setups. So I don't know if that's something that we want to really, stand by and let happen in North America. I always used to say years ago, just because I'm always watching the global news and I'm always keeping in touch what's going on and I'm always watching everything and I'm always saying, North America is like literally the last frontier. I think what brought it home to me was that movie that came out. It was so creepy where you couldn't look at the thing. I forgot what it was called. It came out like a couple years ago and they had to get to this island, and but you had to be blindfolded to get there and all this other stuff. But anyway, I digress. It just kind of reminded me of like the last safe haven. So many people from around the world come to North America seeking refuge from war-torn countries, from countries where you can't vote, you can't talk, you can't this, you can't that. They scrimp and save to get to the land of the free, right? That was the moniker. Get to the land of the free so they can be lifted up out of these persecutions that they were under with for whatever it was they were fleeing. Now they've jumped out of the frying pan into the fire, ain't it? Because you're in a society that doesn't really know how to deal with this type of stuff. You see, the immigrant population will understand quickly what's happening because they're coming from that. So they're quick to, like, if you see your immigrant neighbors packing up their stuff and they're leaving, it's not because you won. It's literally because they're leaving before the shit hits the fan. I'm just saying, because they understand the change in the winds. They understand what a society that's tipping over the edge looks like, and they're getting the heck out of Dodge. I don't blame them. I'd be getting the heck out of Dodge too. Yep, yep, you won. Yep, I'm going home. That's right, that's right. Yep, see you later. Good luck. Yeah, bye. And I'd be out of there because I know what's coming and it's nothing good. Okay? Because people always fight back. Nobody ever goes down without a good fight. So people fight back and then they're crushed. It's in every history book I've ever read. They're crushed by the military might, and either you become subservient to it or you perish under it. That's usually how it goes. So, I mean, this stuff is pretty much laid out before us. We cannot sit back and pretend in North America like we don't know what this looks like and we don't understand what's going on. And oh my God, this is just, politics. And we'll just let it play out at the polls, We'll just let it play out. We'll just let the voters decide. This has gone so beyond that it is not even believable. Like anybody actually believes that still. What polls? What democracy? What election? Heck no. They're pushing on forward with their multiple alligator Alcatraz and their whole, you know, their whole plan. Like they're going full steam ahead. Like they're planning to invade Greenland. go after Mexico, round us up here in Canada, and keep on pushing. I don't know how far they're planning, but I don't hear nothing about slowing down. If anything, it's accelerated because time is running out. So it's almost like do or it's like do now or do it now, or I forgot the terminology. You guys know what I'm trying to say. Strike while the iron's hot type of thing. And it's almost like they got to do it now if they're going to really make a go at it. So that's why you're seeing all these escalations. Like we'll talk about Greenland, China, and Russia in another video. That's a whole other kettle of fish, ain't it? Because a lot of people are so fixated on this it's about the oil and it's about the strategic this and that and the third. Not really. But we'll talk about it in another video. That's a whole other situation. So all I see is ratcheting up. I don't see nothing tapering off. I don't see nothing, nobody, getting ready for no talk. There's no talk of elections, even. Only on the other side, people are talking about elections, because that's like literally the life raft they're clinging to, right? But nobody else on the other, they're full steam ahead. Like they're not even worried about no type of elections or being unseated or power being taken away from anything. That's concerning. But anyway, let me know what you guys think about this whole situation. I thought Insurrection Act was interesting. Let me know if you're keeping up with the situation. Let me know if you understand what is happening, what this whole thing means. Let me know how you feel in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for those of you who took some time to come through today. We definitely appreciate you guys. When I talk about this stuff, it's literally not to be like scaremonger or not to like try to, that's not what I'm doing. I'm talking to people who are like-minded like myself. In every civilization, there have been people who have been saying, "Wait, stop. Let's think about stuff. Maybe we shouldn't do those type of things." It's all throughout history. And so it's no surprise that there are people who are like ringing alarm bells. There are people from all levels, scholars, regular people, people who are trained at this stuff, people who are just human, who just see that this is not the way that we want to live. Um, I still remember what it's like to be happy and to be hopeful. The beginning of 2026, I felt like a day of euphoria. It just lasted a day. Literally, it was just a day. I was so excited on New Year's New Year's Eve and New Year's Day because I thought, okay, for sure, this year we're gonna, we're gonna get it back on track, and people are gonna just move on with their lives, and we're gonna just push on through. But of course not. That was just me being naive, of course. As a person of faith, I should have known better. Um, and so here we are once again, living in doom and gloom. So I just thought it would be important to kind of speak my piece on it. It's what I see, it's what I feel. That's what I see and feel when I watch the news. That's what I deduce from what I'm seeing. If you're seeing something else and you disagree, or you're seeing the same thing and you agree, you can let me know. We can talk about it. Nobody is God, so nobody knows the future. But at the same time, God gives you intelligence to use, and you can sometimes see the writing on the wall. I'm sure people who lived in Germany at the time when things were going awry saw the writing on the wall. The people who got out and left, they saw it more clearly than others. It took a while for some others to see, but eventually everybody kind of caught on to what was happening, is what I'm saying, right? So it's always good to have people who are there to talk about things that people may not necessarily want to talk about or may not even necessarily be aware of, because different perspectives on things. But yeah, that's why I do my chit chat videos. That's why I talk about things, because I know there are other people globally who feel the same way. There always is. So I never feel, like I'm fear mongering or that I'm doing anything wrong by speaking my piece, because I know there are other people who are like minded like myself. So, thank you guys so much for all of your support. We appreciate you guys. Stay up and stay blessed, and we will catch up with you guys in another video. Deuces.